Hi folks, and welcome to the Filmhomework channel, and this time in the woods again, and I want to talk to you about a knife I really value a lot. It is and I'm talking about the Morakniv Kansbol. This is it. A lot of you guys might know it. And first things first, this knife is it comes in a PTFE sheath, and I got the version with the awesome Mora survival kit with a Mora fire steel and sort of a diamond hone. The knife isn't a full tang knife. The tang is a little bit wider than on the other models and goes to this part here, and the handle is some PTFE2 with a sort of a rubber coating, which is really awesome. The middle section of the handle isn't coated, but it has some sort of fish skin chiseling, if you so will. It's not a chiseling, of course, it's a molding. The blade is made from 12C27, tempered to some 58 HRC. The spine thickness is 2.4 millimeters. The blade length is about 100. What's it? I think it's short of 110 millimeters, just forgot it. The knife comes with a very characteristic modified grind. It's a modified Scandi grind to 0. The Scandi is a full flat, actually, as opposed to the grind on the Kansbol, which is sometimes a little bit hollowish. It's not hollow, but it's hollowish. And the spine has a rectangular section. If you look at this, works with a fire steel, and the fit in the sheath is when it's new, it's really great. The sheath is thermoplastic, however, so if you expose it to body warmth a lot, it might lose a little bit of its spring. The pommel of the knife is really comfortable, and you could really use it for techniques that involve your palm, such as drilling or skinning or something, where you really need some purchase while in a sort of a drilling or stabbing motion. Well, what should I say about the sharpness of the knife? As you look at this, I'm carving with 2 fingers only. I can also apply a lot of force. This is birch bark, but on the other hand, I think that's this is birch bark, birch wood. That's really representative is the way it cuts to the wood, and you can easily carve with it. And there have been reviews by the thousands about the Kansbol, and it is, if you don't need the brute strength of the garbage, as in battening, or really you must really have a bomb-proof knife that won't fail you under all circumstances, and don't trust this, and you don't trust the thickness of the blade. On the other hand, don't underestimate this. This is a really, really tough knife, and I also lever chaga out of deep crevices with it, as I tend to do. Apologies if I repeat this to you, and it sounds a little bit boring, but this is what I do. And I also sensibly split spoon blanks from straight grained wood, and mild battening for kindling or something. Not this diameter. There are better ways to do this than risking your than by risking your primary tool, as I don't tire to to mention in my videos. Cut me some slack. It's a really important topic to me. So it also comes with a lanyard. It's some sort of paracord with something that's also really cool. It's some reflective compound worked into the lanyard. So if you have a torchlight and you dropped your knife on the forest floor and you use your torchlight to search for it, and this will reflect, which is maybe sometimes a great thing, especially when you're hunting. As a hunting knife, this is top notch. This is something. The section here is awesome for skinning and cutting behind the skin. This is one of my favorite kitchen knives, and this is something I don't say easily. This is I dismiss dedicated kitchen knives for the Kansbol because it's just the laser. It's just there's little that can best the sharpness of this knife. So and resilience. And the thing is, you can. This is something with this steel, which has a really fine grain. You can strop it back to serviceability. We had that on a recent video already. You can always drop it back to serviceability, all right. And you could use anything. It's you could even use kitchen strop, kitchen steel, which will eventually wear out the Scandi edge to something more like a convex bevel, and which I do not recommend you always do, but in a pinch you could use it to bring it back to sharpness. A lot of times, especially if you are in a hunting scenario, and people bring dedicated butcher knives, but you want to use your Kansbol, and there will be some sort of a kitchen steel rather than a dedicated leather strop, because one downside of a leather strop is that if there's blood on your blade, this isn't good for the leather. So a lot of dedicated butchers or pro hunters use the dedicated professional butcher knives and a steel rather than a leather strop. A leather strop is really great for wood carving, and in this setting, this is where most Scandi grinds happen. That said, this knife also has a really interesting history, and I've brought two extra knives, which also mean a lot to me, and which you might not be acquainted with. And the first one is one I made ages ago. This is something I made myself, but the blade is a Mora. Mora is especially the Mora, to be precise, sorry, wrong language. It's Mora 311, I think, was the name of the blade. It's sort of a skinning blade. It was touted as a skinning knife. This is a Frost's Mora, a pretty ancient blade I got from Gunnar from Siljan SE. Hei Gunnar, og takk for seneste. Takk for denne knivbladen. And I made a handle out of ebony wood, and with a brass bolster on it, and it's really well. This is a predecessor of the Kansbol, I think, and sort of the DNA of the Gorbei too, because the blade shapes are similar, and well, there's nothing. This is the laminate steel variety, and comes at no surprise that it's if possible, it's even sharper than the Kansbol. Didn't strop it. Maybe I make another video to show you how to bring your knife back to sharpness in the woods. I don't know if I managed today, Shapupi, but thank you a million for the inspiration to make one. I will, I promise, but I don't know if I managed to do it today. So, but well, this is nothing to be surprised of that. The legendary Mora laminated carbon steel, which essentially is a middle layer of 1.2842 German steel and side layers of mild steel. I don't know if it's exactly mild. Mild steel, it might also be some sort of C45 or something. And as you can see, for you Mora knife nerds out there, it says Frost's Mora, it's the old stamp. And I made a handle which is obviously, to me, it is obviously perfect, and especially in a all-round setting, also for carving. But the blade shape isn't that great for carving because the tip is a little bit more rounded, and but that doesn't mean it doesn't carve at all. But well. But this blade has seen some development towards the Kansbol, and I think it was in the 80s or 90s that Mora came up with the Mora 2000. This is a version Cillian made or had made by then Morakniv, and you can see the grind isn't yet the same on the Mora Kansbol, but you can also see that this is ground thinner, and if possible the blade is even thinner than on the Kansbol. The spine wasn't sharpened back then. You could all right, because people didn't use a ferro in those times. Actually not that far off, but and Gunnar gave it to me, and Gunnar, tack så mycket. It is really treasured and really appreciated. When I worked for him, and actually at one time I worked at the Jagd und Hund Expo in Germany, in Dortmund, in the Westfalenhallen, and this is where we met, Gunnar and myself. An awesome guy. I think he's a pensioner now, and well-deserved man. And he gave it to me, and I brought some antler, and I actually, to demonstrate the quality of the knives, I chopped antler the entire day with it. At the end of the day, by the way, this was from I think 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was with a lunch break or something, and a little bit of coffee and a little bit of walking through the aisles or something. I chopped antler with this, and at the end of the day, at 6 p.m., it started to show some rolling in the edge. So I mean, I can tell you a lot of bold stories and a lot of bold claims, and I don't want to repeat this, because the knife to me is a little bit of a treasure, because a really, really awesome gentleman gave it to me, and I think well, this is something. This is a sort of well, a token or something to me too. I tend to think along these lines. So this is something that this is part of the DNA of the Kansbol, and this was developed as a hunting knife too. Blade is also 12C 27, and if you can look at this, I hope it comes across. You can see, maybe you can see, yeah, this is, it says 58 HRC on the blade, and well, um, that's something that really opened my mind, because a lot of times you hear about those MagnaCut knives, and I'm not bashing MagnaCut knives. No, don't get me wrong. That's not my intention. But when was the last time you chopped antler for several hours on end? And after that, it rolled a little bit. It was not even a millimeter. And you could put this back to serviceability with just several strokes on a stone, and you know, this is something that really opened up my mind and influenced my stand on knives in general for the woods. Because what do you want? This thingy here you could bring back to working sharpness with a random sunstone that's lying around, and your leather belt, and well, that's you don't do this with a MagnaCut knife, and the MagnaCut knife is awesome for maybe for hunters, and you get invited to a hunt, and you shot some 30 wild pigs and something, and you need to dress them and or rather undress them. um, and well, then a MagnaCut knife might come in handy. But on the other hand, if you are skinning your 25th pig and then your knife gets blunt and you have 5 to go, what do you do with a professional butcher's knife? You just take some, well, ceramic dish and take the underside and strop the blade on the ceramic underside, and you don't cry your eyes out if there are scratches on it. And use the steel from someone else's butcher's knives kit or something, or your own, that you brought in a suitcase or something. With a MagnaCut knife, and it stays sharp for a long time, but when it doesn't, you're in for a problem. And so, and this is something pretty big. And what a few people understand is that if we're talking about 56 HRC, and you are and the other knife has some 58 HRC or 60 HRC. 58 is within the range. So, well, say you get a knife with a edge hardness of 61 HRC. It doesn't mean you get just 5 points, and this is just a little, because the hardness diagram is exponential. So if you get 56, 58 is not exactly double the hardness. It's not that simple, because there are a lot of other factors involved, such as how many carbides are in it, what's the alloy, and so. But if I really abbreviate the context, and please accept my apologies, because this is not totally correct what I'm saying, but for the sake of simplicity, I will keep it on. So if you get a MagnaCut knife that's 64 HRC, that's not just a little bit harder than 58, and the 64 HRC are way harder than the 58. That's it. And keep in mind that with some steels, you don't do this with steel that exceeds its hardening potential, and the 12C27 on this one isn't tempered to the to exceed its hardness potential at all. You could temper the 12C27 to 60 HRC if you do it right, or do some inductive hardening or some tricky stuff. And if you can chop with a knife, you can chop antler for several hours with a 58 HRC hardness, and you are then that's it. That's for most people. For most people, this is pretty much enough. It's not. So MagnaCut is nice to have. It's a really great technology and involved, and it is really. I'm absolutely fascinated by the metallurgy of the steel, and how it is quenched and tempered, and the technology involved, and thingy this and thingy that. But it is also a case of well, who did ask for it? Certainly not a professional hunter, because the butcher's knives are 56 HRC or something, or 58, say, and it's some scrap steel that scrap steel. It isn't scrap steel. Most of the time, it's 440A or something, which is perfectly okay for the setting, especially if you want to abuse it. And this is what I want to say. This is something. Well, there was this survival show going on, and people brought a knife with MagnaCut. Well, it stayed for seven days, and or 14 days. 14 days it was. And actually, this is something about survival that most of the time you don't need a knife at all. You just don't have the time for finicky thingies or something. You break off branches because that takes a lot less of effort, and you need to be economic with your energy, and so this is not something you do. You don't cut through the branches or hack through them, or if you can break off a dry branch, just fire away, break it off, and or use a stone to hack on it in order not to risk your primary tool. And this is something, and they got a MagnaCut blade, and this is, well, for 14 days, and if you would use it for making spoons all the time, or forks, or implements, or traps, or what have you, this will cut really great, and you will be fine for a long time. But after this long time, well, what to do? You will cut through at 64 is not yet there, but at 67 you are in a region where you could cut glass. So and if you I used untempered as opposed to hardened but untempered sample pieces of files I forged, and this is a standard test for me if the hardening process went all right. So and this is to scratch glass. You can cut glass, and you cut through ceramic, and if you get a ceramic strop and you have 67 HRC, chances, depends on the ceramic of course, you cut through the ceramic, or and what's the point of that in the woods? You need a diamond hole, and that's okay if you can bring it, but if you didn't bring it, then what will you do? And this is, well, it's really not bashing the steel, as I said. I don't tire to emphasize this, that I'm really fascinated by the progress involved in that, and this is just cool. nothing to no, just this is just something you need to keep in mind, and you need to decide what to bring. Might be that you will be really fine with a Magna Cut knife, or you choose something like the Kansbol or something, or another steel garbage. The garbage is really great. I'm fond of Helle or Castrum or what have you. I think Peltonen is awesome. The Yakari Pukov by Varusteleka or something. Is it Varusteleka? Scrammer thingy? Well, let me know in the comments if you know. Um, uh, there are a million. I'm not advertising Moras. I don't need to, because well, Moras are Moras, and there are better steels. Just like with Victorinox, it's just like there are better steels, maybe even better knives, and you have to decide which knife to buy. And it's not that I can tell you buy this knife because it's the ultimate super steel. It's not Excalibur. It's not the sword from the stone. It's a knife. It needs to cut. It needs to suit your needs, and needs to cater to what you're doing. And well, that's not helpful, I know, but it can only tell you my experiences, and these are really awesome. And if you don't, if you do general bushcrafting or something, you will be really fine with a Kansbol, even though it's not the sturdiest in the blade or something, or it doesn't have a full tang. I don't think, if abuse notwithstanding, but if you use it for cutting or carving, or even splitting straight grain, smaller diameters, food prep thingy, this is a really awesome knife to go with. And it weighs next to nothing. If you take this and bring SAK additionally, you will be fine for all camp tasks. You can throw it. It's a really cool choice, I think. If you want, you can also bring a Kansbol. Sometimes I like to, because, well, we all juggle knives, and I'm a little bit too fond of sharp objects, to be honest. And I like to have that peace of mind the garbage offers me. But well, I don't think I would break the Kansbol as is. I wouldn't even break the 2000. I think it's this is on the brink of me thinking, well, maybe not for harder bushcraft tasks. Maybe this is great for angling, fishing, something, and preparing fish or something, or food prep and skinning and what have you. This is a really dedicated hunting knife that this will work a cinch with you, and will be with you for a long time. And we talked to a lot of customers at the booth who had the 2000, and they were really asked over everything about it. And the Kansbol is one step further. It's just even better, I think. And I'm not advertising Moras. There are other knives you can also buy, and these are awesome. But I'm talking about Moras now. And it turns out I'm personally fond of the brand, of the people, of the corporate policy, and of the knives too, because, well, they have their shortcomings. Every knife has, but they are really something I personally can live with. And this is, well, even though I have the feeling that this wasn't really helpful, I hope it was for you. And I'm here in the woods and want to have a couple still, and the storm is coming, so I'm having to call it quits now. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and you get out in the woods, and no matter what knife you bring, even if it's a Magna Cut knife, Back River is an awesome brand for super steels and something, or something else. Really, this is something I would recommend if you are looking for something like that. But even though I hope that was halfway helpful, and you enjoy the woods, and you take good care of yourself, including your heart, and just make life matter. This is what I try myself, and often fail, but I think this is really important, especially in these times. So keep your head above it and go out into the woods, listen to the birds, and don't take life too serious. This is what I want to say. Take care. Bye.